our next, obviously, you guys know, many of you know the hot topic. You know, there's always a program of the month. A hot topic is holes. It's a hot topic. Since the HBO special, I think it was Real Time Sports with Bryant Gumbel, they had this the guy that was washed up completely from the game. HBO actually even interviewed. I did an hour and a half interview with them, in which they used zero. Which is really common, right? You spend all your time on them, and they go, oh, make sure you watch the special. And I go, good. And they told me they were going to have all these different people on it, and they just don't have time. I mean, they got like 11 minutes for the whole thing, and they don't have time, right? So, but I was familiar with it, and the HBO, one of the HBO people who put it together, the producers asked me, they said, what do you think of holes? And even at that point, I went, I'm not even sure what that means. And now, obviously, it's become a popular term, holes. So anyhow, what I asked, I know it's so popular, what I did is I asked Wes Johnson, who's a phenomenal pitching coach and a great friend. We've known each other for years, and he helps with our camps, and he's the pitching coach at Dallas Baptist. And I asked him, he had and he's going to explain to you where he got all of it from, but he really got, it's the essential, the guy that really designed the holes in its beginning with Tom House, right? Is it Jamie Evans?
Evans.
Jamie Evans. And so this is the traditional, I asked Wes to give you guys the traditional view of how, the original way that holes were done, the philosophy behind it, and whatever. Then we're going to have Randy Sullivan, who's a physical therapist, this Inner Circle member. He's going to come up and he's going to do a modified version of the holes. And then I'm going to be, and obviously you just heard Fred talk about the weighted glove. So there's a lot of different modalities to the same answer, right? And you'll kind of find, this is just, we throw it out and you decide, trying to give you the information, then you guys pick what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. But anyhow, so without further ado, this is Wes Johnson. Please give him a round warm welcome.
Well, guys, thanks for having me up, and can't get fired up about being here. I mean, gosh, you hear Fred, you hear Ron last night. I mean, I get fired up. Flint and I and Craig Perry, one of our assistant coaches, we were up late last night just breaking things down. So I get excited about coming here. Obviously, I'm going to talk to y'all about what we're doing with holds at Dallas Baptist. I think the first thing you need to understand is we've been doing this since September. So for me to say that I'm an expert on this or anything of that nature, it's not there yet. I'm going to have to go to Cody for our slides because I had trouble with the clicker. Go ahead again. Guys, the first thing I want you to understand, when I talked to Jamie Evans and talked to him very extensively, we had just finished a current audit I did of our current pitching program. They talked about not being a data guy. I'm a data guy. I'm an old math teacher. I love numbers. They make sense to me. They write a story for me about a young man. And so what I found out, if you're looking for holes to be a silver bullet, guys, it's not. If somebody out there's got a silver bullet, please let me know. I'll buy 15 of them right after this. When I talked to Jamie, and that's one of the things I told Jamie, I said, Jamie, if you're going to come in and tell me that you've got this silver bullet, I'm not interested. I'm not. I'm looking for a tool in a toolbox that's going to help 1, 2, maybe 3 guys make that jump, get them to that next level. If it turns into a crescent wrench or a hammer, I'm going to be fired up about it. You go ahead, next one. And then the next thing I told Jamie, I said, Jamie, if you're going to come in here and you're going to tell us, hey, it's one size fits all, I'm not going down that handcuffed road again. You're going to get handcuffed. If you're going to come in and tell me I need to line 15 guys up down here, put them in this position, and make them throw the ball, then I'm out. No, that's not what I want. Because, guys, I think it's important to understand that what I talked to Jamie about in holds is I said, Jamie, I want something that's customizable. I did this audit of our current pitching program, and what I found, guys, in our numbers over a 3-year period, and for me, being a number guy, my sample size was relatively small. I had 51 guys I had a ton of data on, and I'll kind of break that down in a second, but there was a lot of great things I found that we were doing. I was fired up about, yeah, we're getting more velocity, yeah, all these things I was fired up about. But then it came to these 3 things. It came to every one of my guys, well, not every one of them, but across the board, we're losing 4 degrees of separation. All my guys were losing 4 degrees of separation, however they separated. We'll get into that in a second. The next thing I found was that because we're losing 4 degrees of separation, we're losing 6 degrees on average of external rotation. All right? Ron touched on a few things just a second ago on ball release, and I don't want to kill his talk. I don't know what it's going to be, but here's the other thing that we found out. We were losing almost 5 degrees of elbow angle once our shoulder was in front at ball release. Well, for me, that's command. For me, you want to talk, wherever periods, you want to talk about clusters or tunnels or EV, that's what it is for me. So I'm like, oh, whoa. We got to break this thing down. And so I'm telling Jamie these things. Well, he was music to my ears. He says, man, this thing is driven by separation, what kinds you have. I talked to him about that. You go ahead and go to the next slide. I said, so I want it customizable. Jamie said, well, here's what I need from you. I need everything you're getting data on. So guys, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but each one of our guys, when we get a young man on campus, they're going to get a biomechanical analysis. We're real fortunate to have Dr. Keith Meister, the Texas Rangers team doctor. He has a clinic called TMI. It's about 15 minutes from campus. He's also our team doctor. Guys, these numbers write a story for me. They're big for me. Go ahead, go to the next one. So they're going to get a biomechanical analysis. Guys, we're going to do a functional movement screen on them. All that's it's going to write a story for me. It's going to tell me. You want to talk about whatever it is. You want to talk about how the pelvic works, the speed of the hips. Guys, if a guy's got weak glutes or he has trouble with a coupled movement, anything where he's going to do one leg, that's going to tell me something. Go to the next one. Guys, we're going to get range of motion measurements, spine, scap. What am I missing? Spine, scap, shoulder, hips. We're going to get it all. Once again, that's also going to tell me where this young man is limited. Go ahead. Then for me, guys, I'm old school. I still call it arm slot. I know the buzzword now is posture. To me, your posture defines your arm slot, but I still evaluate a kid from my terminology on what his slot is. So when you look at Michael Wonka on y'all's left, to me, he's an over-the-top guy. Yeah, does his posture determine that? Absolutely. When I look at Scherzer right there, he's a lower three-quarters guy. Does his posture determine that? Absolutely. Guys, go ahead and hit the first one right there. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and pull them both up, all right? This is big for me. I evaluate a guy's delivery and how he creates separation in one of two ways. When I look at Fernando Rodney, he is a linear thrower for me. A rotational thrower for me. He gets a big turn away into his midline to create his initial separation. Perry, for you hitting guys out there, Robinson Cano gets and creates separation with his upper torso. Okay, so I've got to know what kind of guy that guy is. I'm going to classify him as a rotational thrower. For me, a linear thrower is a Mike Mussina. Very level, shoulders down the third base line. Going to create a ton of separation with his hips. Once again, we'll go hitting analogy. Dustin Pedroia, for you hitting guys out there, has very little movement right here. When he goes, you see that happen really fast. So he creates a separation with this. It's sticking on us. It'll catch up. So guys, one of the things I talked to Jamie about, I said, Jamie, I found some things that I need to know if holds can cure. Because I just talked to y'all about this elbow angle of ball release with the shoulder. I said, one of the things when I started this audit, I got our head coach to invest in a Casio slow motion camera. Guys, if you don't have one, they're awesome. They'll do up to 1,000 frames a second. You want to break a guy down, get the Casio camera, because you're going to be able to go 240 frames, 420. You're going to be able to see whatever you want. So I just started videoing everything possible to find out, because I'm thinking we're losing separation, we're losing external rotation, and we're losing elbow angle at ball release. Let's go to the Bernstein principle. The body will organize itself based on its ultimate goal, but it's how you're training to get to that ultimate goal that matters as well. So I'm thinking, okay, it's training. There may be something we're doing in our training. First thing I realized when we throw the 2-pound ball, guys, let me go on record as saying this. That's the safest implement we can throw, I believe, based on what I've looked at. It is safe. You're not going to get hurt. He's at 24 degrees flexion right there in his arm. Hit the next one for me, Cody. Here he is pitching. Same young man. He's at 7 degrees flexion. So what are we training? Guys, I want timing. I want separation with timing. And I want him to get in that position on the far right as much as possible. To me, that's how we can be consistent. Can we ever repeat a delivery? I say no. But can we become consistent with the delivery? Absolutely. So I'm telling Jamie about it. He's like, Wes holds it, got to fix your problem on the 2-pound ball. I got nothing for you there, okay? He said, but if you're going to do this and we're really going to individualize holds, then he said, I want you to take a rotational thrower, for example, and I want you to video him in long toss, and I want you to come back and tell me what you see. So this is a young man, guys. If I put him through all of our data, he is healthy as a horse. I mean, he's a thoroughbred ready to run the Kentucky Derby, all right? He's there. I should have started with the pain, though, Ron. Guess what? He's sore when we do extreme long toss. He's sore the next day, like abnormally sore. So one of the things that I found out is so I start videoing him from all different angles. Guys, hey, this right here, this sucker throws the ball for him 330. This actual throw is 338 feet. It lands right on the tape. We run the tape. We've got a grid, all that kind of stuff. He throws this ball 338 feet, bang, right on the tape. Long toss, good or bad for him? For me, that's bad. I'm sure we're going to talk connection at some point. We're not connected right there. Go to the next one. There's what I'm wanting. That's what I want right there. Okay? What I found out also videoing it as we started to customize our program for holds is when my rotational guys, when they hit about 200 feet for whatever reason, because they're playing the slice, however their body organizes itself, we start to lose connection. I really like Fred's point. I mean, Fred, I love that on the long toss with that. I mean, I'm dead on with you. I'm seeing guys lose connection sometimes by trying to throw the ball too far. So what we've done with this young man is we're starting him at 150, and I'm telling him to let it go as hard as he can at 150 because I'm seeing connection. Obviously, our goal is to get him to work back a little bit. But he's a rotational thrower. He struggles with launching the ball. And that's where I ask you, which one of these guys right here is in a position to release the ball and throw long toss from that position? Well, I think Mussina is. Rodney's going to struggle a little bit if I tell him right there to say, hey, let it eat, big guy. How far can you throw it? Okay, and then you go back and you start looking at the numbers. Those linear throwers, man, they love long toss, right? Oh, they eat it up. Let's go. They're good at it. The ball's straight. We can go through a lot of things. So for me, that was one of the things we had to go over. The next thing, he said, all right, we're gonna have to find how a guy delivers the baseball, and we see what you're looking for. We see that optimal, guys. It's not about the most stretch you can get or the most separation or elastic energy or whatever your term is. It's about the optimal stretch with timing for me. And he said, you're going to be surprised. You're going to put a rotational thrower and think that he's going to turn and burn the best. And then and he's not. But he said, we're going to have to find that position for each guy. So here's a young man. I've pulled him up on the screen. He's actually coming out of a turn and burn. He is a rotational thrower. If I look at how he gets his separation. in that classification. You'll notice his back foot's off the ground. Guys, I had him on a flat surface, I had him uphill, I had him downhill, I had it all. We couldn't get that, we couldn't get it. I don't want to get into, I've got a theory that I'm currently researching right now that talks about the depth of this back leg versus some timing and connection. How many of you have the guy who can turn and burn 100, but he's only 90 off the mound, or whatever your numbers are, right? We all got that guy. Well, I don't want to chase a rabbit right now, but one of those things I'm seeing is the depth of this back leg. You're seeing tremendous differences in what this back leg and the depth of it's doing. Hip speed matters on that as well, too. So, let me tell you, the one on the left is a turn and burn, okay? 88. I'm sitting here, I'm going, my goodness, this guy's, he's Hercules. He's one of our strongest guys. Come on. I mean, you know, hey, I'm trying to be super coach too, right? We've all, let's go. You know, I need to give you a headbutt. I mean, what's going on? He's 88, 89, 90. Now I'm like, Jiminy Christmas, what? Finally, I just thought, hey, you know what? Give me a run at crow hop right here. Let's see what happens. Wham, 96 happens. Well, like I said, I don't want to chase the rabbit on the back leg, but we see that we get a little bit of a drag line. We saw hip rotation. I saw tighter separation. Guys, to use Ron's, I don't know, I'm not really clear on this early launch, late launch definitions yet, but if I understand, you're actually seeing a little bit of an early launch on the left. You're seeing more of a late launch on the right, just in my opinion, if I understand where he's going with that. Next one. So, all of that's important before I start actually showing you what we're doing with holds. It'll take it a second. It's all about timing for me. I've got to find the separation. I've got to time it up. So one of the things I love about that wheel drill we saw yesterday is I saw different guys having to time up things, different positions, and release the baseball at different times. Hard stop. That's all right. So this is extremely linear thrower right here. We had Jeff Johnson at MD. I got to brag on this kid. He's come a long ways, but that young man actually holds our all-time, just broke our all-time DBU turn and burn record, or velocity, what we call our velocity. He went 103 the other day. Jeff and MD were over there actually when it happened, but I got to find that drill for each guy. And guys, you can go to the next one. There's 1,000 of these things now. One kid is going to be a turn and burn. Everybody's got these names for drills now, so I don't know. Turn and burn. This young man is a left-handed pitcher that arm swings really sync him up. He'll turn and burn 90. He'll arm swing 96. I showed you the video of the young man just a second ago of the pitchers. He can't turn and burn. It doesn't sync up. He has to run and crow hop. I've got a young man, believe it or not, if I feed him a double play, he lets it go. Go to the next one. So let's get into now what we're doing with holds. Now I've kind of laid that foundation. This is what we're doing. Guys, these are the balls we're using. 2 pound, 1 pound, 6 ounce, 5 ounce, 4 ounce, 2 ounce. Yes, we're holding and throwing them all. Except the 2 pound, we're not throwing that one right now. I want you to fly through these. Guys, I got a question the other day. I just keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. Are y'all just doing holds? It's kind of like Fred said. Guys, no. We're still doing a lot of this warm-up stuff. A lot. We're doing, I'll tell you what stuff. We're still doing, you can stop on that next one. We're still doing everything. All of that warm-up, we're doing it all. All of it, you want to get with Ron, it's awesome. Guys, this first drill we do as a warm-up that's part of holds is what we call swimmers. He's got 2 pound balls in his hand, and he's swimming. We do 3 sets for 30 seconds. It was crazy. The one thing with Jamie, we're talking, and these conversations were long with him because I just had to get a lot of data on this. He said, Wes, we don't stretch internal rotation. I'm like, okay. You know, whatever. I mean, he was real adamant about it. And, you know, he's going through his reason whys. And then when we bring him in and he's putting me through the actual drills, I go, Jamie, we're stretching internal rotation, big guy. Yeah, you don't do the sleeper stretch. You're not laying down. Can you play that one again? Just slide your, yeah. As you can see, I mean, he's working internal rotation right there through that. So, like I say, we're going to go three sets, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. They're going to do that for 3 sets and a warm-up. Go ahead. Hey, Flint, can I borrow you for a second? Okay, guys, this next slide we're actually going to start getting into what we're doing with holds. The biggest thing that I think that puts holds for me at a different level is I am basing everything on this guy as is he a linear thrower or a rotational thrower? So when you look at the linear throwers, for me, my problem with those guys at Dallas Baptist with our college pitchers I run into a lot of, as I broke them down and broke all this data down, we ran into a lot of separation issues. They couldn't keep it the whole time. Granted, it may have been strength. There could have been a lot of reasons. You'll see, for me, our guys, you see this move together, okay? You see that move together. So for me, I've got to figure out a way to get those guys to time up that separation. Come on up. So what we do, and I've already kind of set Flint up for this, is I bring every guy in, and I set them down, and I show them where their hips are when they get into foot strike. Go ahead, Flint. Okay, so he's there. From there, I'm going to have him drop down to both of his knees. Now, his goal there is now I've got to create that separation in torque. Okay, so what Flint's going to do is go ahead and put his hands together, and he's going to turn his shoulders, and he's going to, there we go. That's the separation, guys, that I see that my linear throwers are losing at Dallas Baptist. Maybe I'm a horrible coach and I'm doing things wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. Okay, this is also what I'm seeing when I find that drill that if it's a turn and burn, if it's an arm swing, if it's a step behind, if it's a whatever. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. I'm going to need Flint for one more drill. So what you'll see right here with Philip, if you can play that again, guys, there's 3 phases that Jamie and I have adopted for this. We have a maintenance phase, an endurance phase, and a velocity phase. What you're going to see Philip doing right now is a maintenance phase. That's when all they do is hold on to the ball. He's working down. He's just making a couple throws for this video purpose. And you can see him working down in his balls. Go ahead and go to the next one. Hold on, Flint, it'll be just a second. The next one is more of our endurance. You're going to see him hold the ball. You're going to see him throw a ball. He's going to throw it a little off to the side because I had the camera set up. I told him if he hit the camera, he was cut. So, but I wanted y'all to try to get a good picture of what I've been breaking down in slow motion, and do it without 9 million guys behind you distracting you and what I have to look at. So I brought these guys in. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one. What we've got next, guys, is where we adopt our rocker phase. These are my rotational guys. Once again, all I can tell you is what I'm dealing with at Dallas Baptist. My rotational guys, I believe it was Brent who I heard first coined the term a tornado that rotates through a narrow doorway. So Flint, if you'll go ahead and get in the torque. No, just go ahead and square up your hips right here, okay? When he starts to rock, all right, my rotational guys have trouble getting through that narrow doorway, okay? So as Flint starts to rock, the other thing my rotational guys do, like I say, I still got some stuff to look at on this, is they'll lose the angle or the depth of what they get into this back leg when they start to rotate out of it. So, and Flint and I talked about this last night. I kind of got him in the spot. What you're going to see him do, go ahead and get a good depth on your backside on that rock. And then he's going to rock and come up, and then he'll deliver and hold the ball. So, yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, man. Go ahead and play that for me one more time. This is a young man who has trouble with his back leg and the depth of it. When you watch him arm swing, when you do some things, he doesn't want to let it go as much. He wants to stay a little taller on that backside, and that's something big I've noticed with him. So he's doing a rocker right now. Yes, he's going to go through all of his balls, holding the ball. And right now he's just doing holds. How we doing on time? All right, because I can, this, okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is a rocker throw, same thing. He's in an endurance phase right now. You're gonna see him hold on to one and throw one. Guys, right there you can see I'm big on what this is doing. I'm a right-handed thrower. So all of these drills, my guys have a 2-pound ball in their glove. And I want them to have the glove. I want them to feel it. That's a rabbit we can chase another day on that whole side of things. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. So keep in mind, guys, my linear throwers are going to do a lot of that double knee drill. They're going to do very little rockers. My rotational throwers are going to do a lot of what we call rockers and very little. They don't have a problem torquing up or getting their separation. Their problem is moving it in a straight line. This running gun, go ahead and play that for me again. This running gun is where it gets individualized. Whatever that drill is that syncs that young man up is what he's doing right, is what he's going to do right here. When I tell my guys, go do your running gun, we've sat down. Flint knows to do, turn and burn. Fred knows to do arm swings. And whoever knows to do running crow hops. So that one right there, you actually see, we play it one more time, I'm sorry. You're actually going to see him hold the ball and see him come through. We can go to the next one. And then they're going to work their way all the way down the balls with that. I just have a quick clip here of, you can go ahead and hit the next one. I have a quick clip of what one looks like. They're going to go through, they're going to throw every ball but the 2-pound. They will hold on to the 2-pound, but then we start throwing at the 1, the 6, the 5, the 4, and the 2 ounce. Go ahead and go to the next one. This was very interesting to me. This is one of the things that Jamie really grabbed my ear with, is when he started talking about the testing. And talking about individualizing it. He said, Wes, you got so much data. I'm going to be able to look at your data, and and you're going to test these guys throwing these balls, and I'm going to be able to tell you who's at risk and who's not just by looking at the velocities. I'm like, oh, rubber's fixing to meet the road right here, because I got all the numbers. So we go through, and he says, here's what I want you to understand. When they throw the 5-ounce baseball, we'll use nice round numbers. We're going to say whatever his max drill is, turn and burn, whatever it is, he throws that 90 miles an hour. If he is not at least 7 miles an hour or higher when he throws the 2-ounce ball, he's at risk. His body is not strong enough to consistently decel at 90 miles an hour. I'm like, all right, let's do it. It's on. So, boy, I was fired up when we had a little time before I could test. Man, we tested. I didn't call him. I didn't email him. I immediately came in, put the numbers, pulled out all my sheets. I had 3 guys that we deemed that were at risk with scap health, and played out. You can see right down here that this young man down here at the bottom, he had actually done quite a bit of scap work before he got here, but he was still, when you look at the 5-ounce ball, he was 93.67, and his average for the 2-ounce ball was only 99, and he was at risk when we got him. He was a freshman. Young man at the top, healthy as a horse. He's a 95 with the 5-ounce. He's 111 with the 2-ounce. Those are his averages. Healthy as a horse. I'm like, holy cow, that makes sense to me. Once again, guys, I love numbers, so I'm the numbers guy here. Let's go to the next one. I get a lot of questions, are y'all throwing these balls in your catch play? I've seen different parts of holds where guys are doing this and throwing. Yes, we are. This is a young man playing catch with a 2-ounce ball. Just a quick side note on that. We don't throw this a lot, but I see better connection and separation. Okay, sometimes we're not quite getting the elbow angle at ball release I want when we're out here with everything. But from a connection separation and deceleration aspect, it lines up, guys. It really does. So yes, we're playing catch, and this is just one young man I have right here that is actually just to show you, hey, yeah, we're letting that 2 ounce eat. Well, not for many. Actually on this day, he's got 5 of those 2 ounce throws. So let's go back to the testing phase. When I deem that guy is quote unquote at risk, and it matches up with his velocity, and it matches up with the numbers I get back from Dr. Meister on range of motion and everything else, if he's at risk, we put him in what we call the maintenance side. That is all holds. He is not releasing the weighted ball. Okay? And we'll start out with him, and he'll start out and do 4 reps. 4 reps with each ball, and either his, depending on if he's a rotational guy, he's going to start out doing his rockers. All of his holds will be with a rocker. He will not move to running gun or his running gun immediately. If he is a linear thrower, he's going to do all of his 4 reps with every ball on double knee. This is where the majority of my guys are. It's an endurance phase. I've named it endurance. Call it whatever you want. But we go 2 holds, 2 throws. So one of the things we're doing with that is kind of similar to what you saw Philip, our left-hander, doing. He's going to make 2 holds, and he's going to follow it up with the same ball, 2 throws right then. I'm trying to build some endurance because I believe that there is an efficiency standpoint. I go back to the young man that I showed you that long tosses. I can give you all his other numbers as well. He's a 99-mile-an-hour turn and burn. He goes 96 off the mound. But for whatever reason, when he goes to long toss, he disconnects. Well, I want efficiency. I'm not just, yes, I want to continue to build velocity, and I believe that everybody can keep going. But at the same time, I want to try to keep a balance on how fast that's happening, if that makes sense to you. That's why I stick a lot of our guys in endurance. Now, if you go to the next one. Let's take the young man that I showed you that was at risk. Once we move him out of at risk, he's a tall, skinny young kid from Chicago who is a guy that we need to develop a whole lot. He's going to move to this part of the velocity phase. That's going to be 1 hold to 3 throws. And yes, there's a routine to their schedule and how they're doing that. Guys, that's what we're doing with holds at Dallas Baptist. I just got the 0. If we got questions, I'll be around and we can go from there.